Yo, what is up, everybody? What is up? I am so excited to finally have my home studio somewhat built as I'm shooting this podcast episode. Welcome to the Science of Flipping. I am Justin Colby. And as you can see, if you're watching this on YouTube, which you should be watching this on YouTube, I keep telling you that, go subscribe to my YouTube, youtube.com/Justin Colby. Subscribe. Make sure you turn on your notifications so you know when I drop these videos. If you're watching, I now have my soundproofing foam up, which hopefully comes out much better with the audio. That way I don't have to do these podcast episodes in my car anymore. I can actually do them here in my home office in Miami, Florida. Now, I'm actually kind of jacked up right now, not just because I've been slamming all of this Starbucks coffee, but because I just came back from a really powerful mastermind called the Boardroom. A very close friend, one of my brothers, Clothier, and I started this years and years ago, and it is one of the best, if not the best masterminds to be around for the people and the level of quality that the investors are there. Everywhere from kind of beginners that have cut their teeth and gotten a couple deals all the way to people doing millions and millions and millions of dollars with wholesaling, flipping, and portfolio acquisitions. So it really fired me up, and I wanted to give you guys a little bit of a takeaway that I got from this mastermind. Now, there's a ton of takeaways there, that's for sure. But one thing that really, quite literally, as my notebook, I'm looking here, that I wrote down that I wanted to bring to you guys is this idea of raising money, how to raise money, where to raise money, and quite literally something that I think everyone has access to, but no one really thinks about. Now, some of you might think about this, but I would tell you, most of you probably don't. Now, I would say this: raising money for fix and flipping isn't easy, but there's a lot of money out there that is meant to be lent as a lender, and make sure you protect yourself with the right paperwork and make sure you're not promising anything so you don't get in trouble with the SEC. They don't want you selling securities, right? But then this whole other thing that was brought up in this mastermind is raising capital for long-term holds and how to do it. And I had, kind of my own model that I've created for myself, and I've shared it several times here on this podcast. But what was brought to light and actually was talked about at length for, almost the better part of 2 hours was this model of taking retirement accounts, people with retirement accounts, and utilizing them as private lenders into your long-term rentals. Now, though it makes sense rationally when you hear that, and you might be thinking to yourself, Justin, you're not saying anything that maybe I don't know. I can understand that, but why would you utilize their money for your long term? And it's because you can provide more value to them. Okay, because if you really think about why they even have a retirement account, is for the long term. They're not worried about quick money, because any money that you do give them as, interest or profit share or whatever, they can't really touch it anyways unless they want to take a huge tax hit. And so what I would say there is there are, I forgot what the number, I think it was quoted. There are millions of people with retirement accounts. And I'm actually going to go into this new year, 2022, really heavily thinking about who do I know that would be interested in using their retirement account as a way to lend money as a lender, and all interest paid on that loan goes back into the retirement account, and they don't get taxed on it, and it builds their retirement account. And I literally wrote a list as I'm looking down here at my notebook from this mastermind about people that I know that have retirement accounts. And, there's some clarity that needs to be discussed here about whether it would be a 401k or an IRA. 401k is much more a company retirement account. And so you'd likely have to, the person that has a 401k would likely have to transfer it into a self-directed IRA. And then you have so many different types, right? Do you do a SEP IRA? Do you do a Roth IRA? And I'm not going to be the expert right now for that, right? So just know, I know enough to be dangerous to myself, but I'm not going to be the expert. In fact, the individual, one of my closest friends, he actually married me and my wife. He actually owns a trust company, and he was the one that brought this idea up, and it started this whirlwind of ideas and concepts and questions regarding how to structure this. And so I'm actually going to do you guys a favor. I'm going to bring him on very, very shortly so we can do a podcast together so he can get more tactical with you guys. But what I wanted you guys to realize, and quite literally the entire podcast, the Science of Flipping podcast, is to teach you what I'm doing and what is successful in the space of real estate investing, from everything from wholesaling to flipping to wholetailing to buying rentals, and including where do we find the money to do it. And so this is something that I think if you literally took a minute and pulled out a notepad and literally wrote down people that you believe probably have a retirement account, then it's just simply a conversation, right? Because these individuals have that retirement account for one reason, right? And that is to put money into their retirement. Well, if you can help them do that because you're providing a value or a resource that they can lend money out of it, again, likely going to have to be a self-directed IRA, so they'd have to take it out of a 401k. And my friend can discuss all that kind of stuff with you guys when I have him on the podcast. But I wanted this to be kind of the introductory component of, there's a lot of money out there. There is a lot of money out there. You just aren't actually, doing a good job trying to find it. Maybe you're nervous. Maybe you don't know how to have the discussion, and I can help you with that, right? But there's a lot of people that have these retirement accounts that would love to be able to make an extra 5, 6, 7, 8% a year on the money that's just sitting in there. It's quite literally just sitting in there. You know how I know all this is because this is a little tangent, but I actually took my self-directed IRA and I actually took a chunk of it and I actually invested it into cryptocurrency, into Bitcoin, because my trust company is actually my buddy's trust company. He actually has a platform where I can, from my IRA, I can invest into cryptocurrency. And then if I sell and when I sell, take all those profits back into my IRA. I love it, right? Again, I'm not going to touch this thing till I'm 59 and a half. So for me, a small component of that can go into crypto, it can go into real estate, etc. My point being is, why not make money while the money's sitting in there? So I wanted this to be kind of food for thought. I'm going to literally call him right after I do this episode right now. We're going to schedule a podcast. I'm going to get him on. We're going to talk more tactical about all this, but there's really no limit. So when you guys are thinking about, well, how do I get in the flipping game? How do I buy and hold? This is partially your ticket. Finding the individuals that have capital sitting there that you can actually offer massive value, because it's building up their retirement account, so they're only going to take it out once they're 59 and a half, and it's tax-free at that point. So instead of them just adding to it based around whether it's income or whatever it may be, like for me, I just take a portion of my income and I put it into my IRA, right? I'm self-employed, right? So instead of me just doing that, why not lend on my real estate deals out of it, right? Or have my IRA buy it, right? So I can also actually buy a flip for, let's say, for example, and I'll take title to that flip in my IRA's name, okay? And then when I sell that flip, let's say I make 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 80, 100 grand, all of that money goes back into my IRA, and guess what? It's tax-free. Now, unless I want to take it, because if I need the income, or if you're in a position that you need the income, you might want to take it, then you're going to get taxed on it. So there's not the same advantage, right? But if I'm just building out, let's just say I'm doing 20 wholesale deals a month and I want to flip a property, I might not need that income from the flip because I'm doing 20 wholesale deals a month. So why not just put that flip in my IRA's name, flip it, put all the profits back into my IRA, and now I'm growing it without having limitations on my own personal, allowance, how much I'm allowed to put in there. Guys, this is really, really beneficial for all of us, right? All of us investors, even if you're a wholesaler, these are individuals that would love the opportunity to build their retirement account. I promise you that. So I'm literally going to jump off this episode right now. I'm going to call him and we're going to schedule this. We're going to dial in a time so that way you guys can get some more tactical here. But I'll promise you, it is a game changer. If you yourself have a self-directed IRA or a 401k, you really need to think about making sure it's a self-directed and actually start to utilize that in your own real estate investing business, just like I do and so many other people do. Because again, as long as you don't need the money from the wholesale or the flip or the rental, all that money can go back in, build your retirement account. And guess what? We're all in this for the long haul. So this fired me up. It's kind of a game changer going into 2022. I'm going to leverage it to build my rental portfolio. If you have a retirement account and you want to talk to me about how you could be a lender to me, I would love that. I would love it. Send me a message on Instagram, the Justin Colby, or somewhere here on YouTube, or just somewhere. Hit me up somewhere and let me know. You know, I'd love to have that kind of conversation with you, because I'm going to be building a long-term rental portfolio with that type of funds, and that would be very cool to have a conversation with you. So hope this finds you well. Hopefully it fires you up the same way it fired me up. I'm fired up. Obviously, I have my new studio here. So if you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you give me 5 stars on iTunes, and I will see you guys on the next podcast episode. I'm calling my friend right now. Peace.